Yusef Salaam, one of the Central Park Five, who was later exonerated, is now headed to the New York City Council. He's now being declared the winner. It was a very tight race there in New York, but again, he is now being declared the winner of the Harlem City Council primary. That is a huge move there. Of course, generated lots of attention. 1989, when he and several others were arrested in the case that attracted national attention. Now, of course, winning the primary, now moved to the general election, and pretty much is guaranteed to win that Democratic seat. I think right there, Teresa, it says a lot to have someone like Yusef Salaam, who is going to be operating in a public policy position, for him to win, and now gets to, and this is the same person where the city council and Bloomberg fought like crazy, Mayor Bloomberg, but they actually had to pay that big settlement to them. He now is going to be in a position to have an impact on public policy, especially when it comes to police.
Yusuf is an example of what we should be looking for in our leaders. You know, he's not an advocate. He's actually a victim of the system. And so him even, understanding that the amount of issues and turmoil that he had to endure for 5 years or, many years, I don't remember the number count, but for many years that he had to deal with prison, he had a very good understanding of what the lay of the land is inside. He could have went to law school, probably did, not sure. But whatever he did, he understood the system. The people love him. That it's not just the story. It's about what you do after the story is told. But he didn't allow the criminal justice system to really define his life. And I think that's probably, more so the staple of why, a candidate like him, fresh, anointed by the people, you could say, is someone that, you want to look to in terms of leadership, in terms of paving the way so other men and young boys, I think at the time he was young, so young boys don't go through the same issues and trauma that he went through over time. And so, again, if we can get, I'm all for the advocates, but if we can get somebody, who with that same mindset, who's really talking about change, to understand it from inside and out, then I think you can really govern not only a city, but, maybe a country one day.
Absolutely. Niambi, your thoughts about him again now headed to the city council?
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's a feat anywhere. I mean, New York has such a really complicated, incestuous political system. The fact that he was able to penetrate and be successful in one of the biggest cities, in one of the most consequential places anywhere, I think is huge. I think it is also speaking to the appetite of New Yorkers for probably a transformative leader. I mean, I don't know what else he wants to do post city council, but we certainly know this is one route to more leadership and bigger opportunities. But I mean, the city has been crying out from mayor to mayor, whether we're talking about from Giuliani to de Blasio and to now Eric Adams, for better representation of Black people in that city, to not have someone simply tell them, you get more police and we're going to give the police more overtime, but yet we still have housing concerns in that city, right? NYCHA has been under review, under investigation for many months. So you still have poor people in that city can't find any place decent to live, even from the city. We're talking about people who don't have access to market rate homes, right, because of the way that works. And so I think his election is speaking to not only the sort of criminal justice reform, but also the real lived concerns of the citizens of Harlem and the folks who are living in New York writ large. So I am really excited to see what he does with this city council seat, but also how he might bring others into the political process that might have decided they didn't want any parts of it.
The thing here, Larry, first of all, go to my iPad. This is the results. They had ranked choice voting, and so they had to finish the tabulation. Larry, Yusef got 63.8% of the vote. Inez Dickens got 36.2%. I mean, this is significant. And again, he now moves towards the general. It's a Democratic seat there in Harlem, so he pretty much guaranteed to win.
Roland, I posted this on social media last week. Congratulations, Dr. Salaam. This is quite an accomplishment. My colleague talked about New York City politics. I work for a former New York City congressman and know how tough that environment is to win at any level. But like I said, congratulations. I think it's also important to highlight in part him being one part of the exonerated five and how we deal with issues relating to law enforcement, particularly in New York City. Roland, I just saw a stat that highlighted over the first couple of months in New York City that police chases have increased by like 600%. So someone like Dr. Salaam, who's been knows it's like to be criminalized and put in jail for a crime he didn't commit, understands that and can fight for the kind of reform that we continue to see not only in New York City, but also other parts of the country. Lastly, Roland, another point I want to make is let's not forget Donald Trump's involvement and forget that ad he took out calling for the death penalty for the exonerated five. So it's interesting in terms of two politicians, Donald Trump and Dr. Salaam, in terms of the trajectory of their lives. But once again, I want to congratulate him. This is an incredible accomplishment considering all the barriers he had to overcome.
Absolutely. And I also think it's important for people to understand that it is, again, one thing for folks to complain about public policy. It's another when folks decide to actually run, to get involved in elections, in public policy. I say this all the time. You can't talk about you want to demand changes in public policy if you don't change the politicians. That kind of goes hand in hand, Niambi.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, New York is one of those places because it is so hard to break through. You see the same people over and over and over again. I think it's also important to note how that victory, you look at the margins, they're large, but how few people actually showed up to vote in this election, which also tells you how much people have sort of defected from the process and how much they stay out. I mean, people really don't pay attention to these local elections, but these are the kind of elections that matter. If you care about zoning, if you care about potholes, if you care about trash pickup, you care about having your streets clean, these are the elections that really, really matter. So I think him being there hopefully will be able to bring in not just fresh blood, but a new way of thinking about how business is conducted in that city. He certainly can't do it alone. I mean, the New York City Council is huge. I mean, there are over 50 members, but at least I think him being there can perhaps be a clarion call to other people who think they're too young or don't have enough experience, that they can actually become leaders in this city, and not just through what happened to them because of the tragedy, but because of how they use their life as an example, wherever they may find themselves situated.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment. When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.